Welcome back to another episode from Another Point of View. My name is Alice.
And I'm Agnes.
And today in our short and sweet, we just wanted to do a little catch up. We did post an episode last week, but it was recorded a little while ago. And I just wanted to ask, how you been?
What has been going on? There's a lot that has been going on.
Yeah. Tell me. I know a little bit, but
What has been going on? Where do I begin? So I left London sort of end of March. Oh my God, we're in April. Yeah, end of March. And I ended up going for the 10-day silent meditation retreat. So that lasted for 10 days. Got back to London on the 11th day. And then I got really sick.
Yeah.
I had a really bad flu. But after the retreat, I really needed a few days to decompress, reevaluate everything that I've learned. And also just integrate the whole experience because it was pretty full on experience.
I remember you were telling me about going away for 10 days to meditate, and obviously 10 days is a lot, but I was kind of in my brain it seemed like it's not that long.
Yeah.
But then I was so conscious that you were away, and constantly I was kind of thinking, what is Agnes doing right now?
She's meditating. So it's
yeah. And it then all of a sudden it put it into perspective, how actually long that is.
Yeah. So just really quickly for anyone that doesn't know, so the silent meditation, the Vipassana, is 10 days of being in silence. You obviously have no phone. You're not able to communicate. It's a noble silence. And all you do is basically meditate for 10 hours a day, every day, which works out over 100 hours in 10 days. So it's very intense. I think you need to have a very strong sort of dedication and a very strong intention going into it. Because mentally and physically it's very challenging.
Yeah.
One of the best experiences I've ever had in my life.
And this is the second time
It's the second time, yeah. And I think it was harder this time just because I knew what I was getting myself into.
Right.
So in a way, I felt extremely emotional. I've cried before I left for a few days. I was just feeling so emotional. And even on the day that I was leaving, I remember sitting here actually and just crying. I was like, why am I so emotional?
Right.
But I think intuitively my body knew that this is going to be quite groundbreaking. And I had a very strong intention going into it, and and very solid reasons for it.
Yeah. And I think we've spoken about it, how important it is to have an intention with anything that you're doing.
Yes.
And it just is, it becomes this more special, whatever it is that you're doing. Yesterday I went to yoga, and I'm not a yogi, but I do yoga, and then I've never really thought of an intention.
Yeah.
I feel we all kind of just go yoga, exercise, or the gym or whatever. We don't really put anything behind it.
But I feel I understand where you're coming from, but then on the other hand, I think we do subconsciously, because even going to the gym, people are my intention is to lose weight, put on weight, do my have muscles. We have this subconscious intentions. You went there for a reason, essentially. Yes.
But I think the intention is usually with a negative, slightly
connotation to it.
Yes. A little bit oh, I'm too fat, so I need to lose weight.
Oh, in that sense.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So having a kind, calming intention.
Yeah. And being able to reconnect with your body. I think for me, yoga is one of the most powerful tools, yoga and meditation, to reconnect my mind and body together. And when you go with the intention, it flows so differently than it would do if you just went there for the sake of just stretching or exercising or whatever.
Exactly.
So what's been going on with you, Alice?
Working. Working, crying. No, it's more just ongoing battle with my anxiety. Just trying to connect my body and my mind. That's why I'm trying
realigning them.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to. Wow, that's such a nice background noise.
Yeah, some chimes in my garden.
Just trying to be kind to myself, because I know I can often be quite frustrated and angry and impatient when it comes to like progress, not just with anxiety, with anything in life. I'm like, I want it right now. It's almost like learning, I guess, patience through this whole experience, like how important I can be so patient with other people, I've realized,
but not with yourself.
Not with myself.
And that's when you should start.
Yeah, honestly. I've learned so much through this journey of anxiety. I've also started reading more books. And obviously a few I've borrowed from your massive collection.
Yeah, we have a little library going on in this house.
Yes. But you have such like cool books, I realized. I don't know where you get them from. It's not like your standard, you know, from W.H. Smith, like...
No, I go on a hunt.
Yes, I can tell.
I'm such a geek. I feel like I was a librarian in my past life.
You've been a monk, you've been a
librarian, I've been like...
Eagle,
like... It's a long... I've been on this planet many times.
Yeah,
apparently.
It's not confirmed, but that's...
No, it's confirmed.
Okay.
Like, excuse me? It is confirmed.
So first I'm going to mention a book that's helped me with my anxiety, if anyone's listening or watching who's going through something similar. It's Dare. It's called The Dare. I think it's like a different way of thinking about anxiety.
Who is it by?
It's by Barry McDonagh, I think. I can't pronounce it properly.
Yeah.
But it's basically just, to me personally, it's given me like a boost of confidence. With anxiety, you often like obviously face fears and doubt, self, like criticism even. And you often like go back to this bubble and you're scared to step out of the house.
Yeah.
And with this book, it's basically teaching you a way to face your fears. And it's very like just like a self-help book, but the way it's written, and also they have like a YouTube channel and that, I felt like it's like almost like a little bit of a community. And then I've like outlined a lot of things that like...
What was like the biggest takeout from the book? There's one thing that really like stuck with you.
Just go and do the things that you're scared of.
Face the fears.
Yeah, because when I first got the anxiety, I felt like I couldn't do anything. Like I was so like almost paralyzed in that fear.
Yeah.
And then reading things and reading books like this that kind of reassure you that you can do it. A lot of people have done it. Like this is, you know, what you should be doing. Yeah, it's helped me a lot. So that's definitely one I kind of like skip through when I feel a bit down. And
something you can always go back to, right? Like what you sort of highlighting.
Exactly. Okay. Is there anything that you're enjoying? Like reading, watching?
So since I got back, I feel like I've been very selective with everything that I'm consuming.
Can imagine.
The book that I've read before I left, though, it was... Do you know Brené Brown and her work?
I've heard.
Yeah, she's a researcher and she... researches emotions, and she wrote this book called The Atlas of the Heart, which is beautiful, and I will highly recommend it. And it talks about sort of navigating through different emotions, and it's all based on her research, and just it's such a beautiful book. And for me, you know, for years I was not really good at being emotional or expressing my emotions.
Same.
And I really had to learn how to do that. And I find like that book just sort of sums up everything that I have learned, and on top of it shows me so much more. So I would highly recommend it. And Brené Brown's work is just amazing. I think I've read probably like 4 of her books.
Wow. Well, guess what I'm borrowing next?
Yeah.
Similar to you, I've been quite selective with music choices.
Okay.
So I used to be like into, you know, mainstream music, like a lot of rap music, and I still find it cool, like it pumps me up and stuff, but the more I go into like the self-discovery journey and like meditation and all of that stuff, I realized that music has a massive power to calm you, to help you concentrate, like all of those things. Yeah. And it's not like a new thing, we all know this, but I've like actually realized this, like, you know, physically. I want to just mention an artist that I know. I personally know her. Her name is Amethyst. Her stage name is Amethyst.
Oh, I love that name.
Yes, and she's all about like purple, and her voice is stunning. Oh, and wow. I am obsessed with a song called Patience. So if you have some time, we'll link it probably somewhere on our socials.
In the show notes, yeah.
Check it out. Like, check the artist out.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So I'm so excited that you're back and well, and I'm so excited that we're going to be diving into like a lot more than just fashion within this podcast. We had a conversation before.
Yeah.
Like we were connected with fashion.
Yeah. Fashion was what connected us in the first place 5 years ago. Even when we first started sort of brainstorming about this podcast idea, fashion was sort of like a first subject that came up.
Yeah.
For a good reason, because it's like something that we both know really, really well.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that we can share about fashion and fashion industry and style that we hope is going to be beneficial for everyone watching. But I think we also in the back of our head knew that this is going to evolve and change and progress.
Yeah.
So we both on the journey, I mean we all are on the journey of self-discovery and growth and expanding and changing.
Yeah.
And we definitely want this podcast to sort of include all of the topics that are so close and dear to our hearts. So the things that we're going to talk about is, from my perspective, like the meditation and mindfulness and being present and aware, it's so important as a sort of self-growth tool, as well as just something that's become a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
From your perspective, like the mental health as well.
Yeah,
right?
and confidence, growing confidence. Like it's for everyone, but especially if you're like out of the the beauty standard. I feel like you've been affected by social media and everything that you consume, and I feel like we really need to unpack that a little bit. And also, we all know this, but a reminder is a good way of like going forward.
Obviously fashion still is going to be like a main thread, I would say, throughout the podcast, but I think we definitely want to look at fashion from slightly different perspective. Like I definitely want to focus on sustainability and sort of those aspects of fashion industry. I feel like awareness and education are so important. We all have to educate ourselves on the subject because it's so important. So that's something that's really important to me, and I definitely want to dive deeper into it. Definitely.
And I feel like fashion is like almost like this outline, and then there's definitely something behind it, and I'm very, very interested in like seeing the other side of fashion and just like the fashion industry, or like your personal style, or we would love to have guests in the future like asking personal questions about fashion choices and inspirations and just like overall lifestyle.
And talking to people that have a style that isn't sort of what you see in magazines. That people that don't follow trends, people that are sort of thinking outside of the box, that are using fashion as a creative tool. That's one thing that I just go on and on about. But it is, I feel like it's such a great way of your creative expression if you really wanted to. So
definitely. So it's kind of like 2.0. We've had a little bit of like a brainstorm what we want to, like what our intention is. And like I said, I'm so excited.